All right, Cam Baker. Good question here. If you had to pick one thing that makes the biggest difference, technically speaking, between a pro rider and a good local guy, what would it be? Great question. Pro guy versus fast local rider. What is the difference? I think the difference is that the pro guy can do it, at least the good pro guy, can do it corner after corner, section after section, lap after lap, not really mess up. If they do, you can barely notice, and they can do it for extended periods of time. I think the fast local guy, this is at least sort of the stereotype I always envision in my head, is the person that can certainly go fast, but you know, if I told them to go hit a corner 10 times in a row, they're going to get 2 or 3 of them absolutely setting the world on fire. They're going to crash 2 or 3 of them. They're going to make huge mistakes the other 2 or 3 of them. And it just leads to zero consistency, leads to, you know, longer durations of riding and maybe getting tired towards the end of motos, leads to people that get arm pump, all of these things, and probably more technique mistakes. So you watch a fast local guy, usually you'll be able to point out more things wrong than when you watch a pro, because they haven't spent the time to really develop the everything. That's of course a generalization, but typically somebody that hasn't made it to the pros and hasn't been able to level up to the pros, it's because they hit a ceiling somewhere along the way. A lot of times you hit the ceiling because you don't develop all of the things, right? So that would be the biggest difference. What makes the biggest difference from a technicality point of view, pros versus pros? 2 things for the pros that I at least pick up on the most would be hips and knees. No, not knees. Hips and feet. The reason I'm doing this for hips is because, I don't know if the camera can see me, it's difference between anterior and posterior. Anterior, posterior, and the hips control all of it. It controls where the knees are. It can kind of control where the feet go. It controls all of what the upper body is doing. The hips need to be anterior pelvic tilt. So look up that on Google and you'll see what I mean. It's kind of like an over-exaggerated good posture position. And then footwork. I can't help but to watch people's feet, especially at the pro level. If you guys enjoyed this podcast clip and you want to listen to full episodes, you can do so on Spotify and Apple Music. If you want to send in your own video submission, you can join us in the Moto Academy family inside of the Moto Academy app by just going to themotoacademy.com. That's also where you can sign up for a class. Okay, guys, see you next episode.